Warning, warning. The United States government has issued a civil warning for all citizens of the United States. This is not a drill, and this is not a test.
If anyone is pulling this data from the server banks, listen closely. We didn't understand the pattern at first. Nobody did. The first official briefing arrived on our desk as a minor localized containment issue on the edge of the residential grid. Just 100 confirmed individuals placed under standard observation. The public safety broadcast told everyone to stay inside for 72 hours, assuring us that the routine protocols would neutralize the vector. We blindly believed them. We thought it was just another briefing outbreak that would dissolve before the weekend.
But those 272 hours vanished, and now the world outside went completely cold. By day 20, the silence in the streets became physical weight. The main transit lines that used to flood the city with the life were covered into concrete boneyards. Stores slamming their shutters down in panic, leaving the lights on. Neon signs buzzing into empty spaces. The virus didn't give warning signs. It drifted like a heavy fog through the high-rise apartment complexes, jumping floor to floor. We completely stopped tracking standard routines. Our only task when generators kicked in was to check the monitors and map the dark zones.
The transmission was deceptive. In the first week, people were still trying to live normal lives, going to local markets, keeping schools open for a modified schedule. But the mode of the spread was already working against us. By the time we hit the 3-week mark, those original 100 cases had mutated into massive surge across the outer ring. The transmission rate was compounding daily, and every countermeasure we threw at it felt like they were trying to stop an avalanche with a paper shield.
Log entry 42. The situation had disintegrated past the point of strategic retreat. Central Command officially declared a state of total structural quarantine. Massive concrete blast walls and heavy steel fencing were dropped overnight, driving the metropolitan grid into the 3 strict isolation zones. The theory was simple, almost perfect on paper. Section off the active hotspots, severe all transit between the districts, and let the outbreak stir itself out. They told us that without the new host, the spread would collapse on its own. They locked the gates and told us to hold the line.
But containment theories don't mean a thing when panic compromises the perimeter. The defensive walls didn't even hold for 48 hours. Fear moves faster than any physical barrier we can build, and the barricades protecting the northern section collapsed in a single night of absolute chaos. The automated warning sirens screamed across the empty rooftops for hours until the backup fuels line finally ran dry. Our designated safe zones turned to static, and these underground outposts became our final strongholds.
We watched the terminal lights go dark one by one. Communication lanes to the coast died first. Then the central server arrays stopped responding entirely. We left the operating in a vacuum, relying on fading battery banks and ration our remaining resources. We weren't even fighting the infection anymore. We were just trying to survive the total collapse of everything around us. Listening to the static of the comms, waiting to see if the entire map would eventually go dark. We spent months buried beneath meters of concrete, tracking air filtration values and checking the seals of our oxygen covers every single hour. But human resilience is a stubborn variable. After weeks of complete isolation inside the automated medical wings, the bioscientist counters agent finally stabilized. The atmospheric dispel throughout the central ventilation shafts of the inner sectors actually worked. The progression lines flattened. They're beginning to clear.
Day 147. For the first time in nearly half a year, the external atmospheric sensors are reading entirely clear. The city is heavily scarred, and rebuilding the power grids and the infrastructure that the panic tore apart will take us years of collective effort. But today, the general biohazard alarms have been permanently deactivated.
The final containment sector had been officially cleared for the entry. The shadow had lifted from the grid. We are shutting down these log files and achieving the system for good. It's time to cut the power to the bunker, unseal the main doors, and step back outside.